Okay, all right, friends. Well, welcome. Welcome to Lessons from a Father. I'm Adam. I'm a father of 6. 5 biological. My oldest is a stepson who I've raised since he was 2. It's interesting because I had a stepfather. I also have an adopted father who raised me my whole life but adopted me in my 20s. And I never really understood why people would say that, you never love a step kid the way you love your own. Maybe that's true for many, but I got involved when he was only 2. I mean, he was adorable. He was so freaking adorable. I mean, I remember the day I met him, and he just walked up to me, looked at me, put out his hand, grabbed my hand, and we just he wanted to go play trains in the playroom, and he literally walked me without saying a word into the playroom and sat down and started playing Thomas the Tank Engine trains, and we just sat there playing trains for like an hour and a half until his mother came home. And it's amazing to me how if you put the time into building a bond, what it can really do to both people, to both parties involved. And that's the key, is building a bond with everything. Everything in life and everybody in life, the key is building a bond. It just depends on what kind of bond we're building. It depends on what kind of relationship we're building. It depends on what we want the outcome to be. It is about building a bond. Personal, romantic, professional, all of it. And if we don't put the time and the effort into maintaining that bond, into building that bond, into growing into new things, that's neglect. When we neglect a relationship, when we neglect a person, when we neglect a love, it dies. It can't thrive. It can't survive through neglect. Because then it changes. The status of that relationship and that person, that changes. Neglect changes what they are, to you, for you, and from you. Neglect is a powerful thing. And unfortunately, many people were raised or brought up, or I don't know, conditioned or developed to avoid conflict, but to avoid all things that are difficult to get through. I'm a talker. I'm the emotional one. I love talking about feelings. I love hearing about feelings. I love just like the details. I'm an empath, and I love the details. So I write this novel, and I get, okay. And I get it. That's like the thing, Everybody, the guys in the red pill, blue pill, I don't know, thing, all say, be tough, be stoic. And I love stoicism, by the way. We'll get to stoicism. One word replies. Oh, wait 10 minutes. Oh, wait an hour. Fuck that. Fuck it. If you have to do that for somebody, that's not the right person for you. That's my belief. If you literally have to play the game to get them, that's not the right person. Maybe you're not being the right person either. So back to building a bond. Back to the idea of neglect. When we build a bond with someone, that bond takes work. Marriage. I've been married for 15 years. That's not easy. We've been through a lot. I've been through a lot, and that has therefore caused her to go through a lot as well. So we have experienced quite a bit in life. But when you build a bond, that's preparatory for what is to come. And if you haven't built that bond, if you haven't built that stronghold, that foundation, then what comes will rock you, will shake you, will break you, if you allow it. So unfortunately, bonds come down to priorities, right? And everybody says, I don't have time. Bullshit. You have time for whatever you prioritize to give your time to. That's the key. Now, what do you do when you are dying inside? And giving and giving and giving. And that person is just taking and taking and taking. They're happy to receive. But they're not reciprocating what you need. That which you are telling them and informing them that you need. Well, unfortunately, time's up. Because if you keep telling them what you need, what you want, what you feel, what you experience, and they continue to tell you, tough, or you're on your own, or, well, I understand it's how you feel, but I'm not going to do anything about it because your feelings are your responsibility. Well, fucking A, you caused those feelings by your words and your actions. Does that make sense? So yes, we should not allow other people to determine how we feel inside. That is true. Absolutely true. But when someone says or does something that hurts, and we share that hurt with them, they have a responsibility. They have a responsibility to take care of the hurt they have caused. Because we don't get to choose what hurts others, right? We don't get to choose that, unfortunately. And if we get to choose it one time, then we have to choose it all the time. But we don't. So when we unintentionally hurt someone or intentionally hurt someone, we have a responsibility to that person to be involved in the healing process. Now, we can neglect that responsibility, avoid that responsibility, and walk away from that responsibility. We can do that because we have that choice. But what is that doing to the bond? It's loosening it up each time. Loosen until you are broken apart, and that bond is gone. There's no bond anymore. Remember, a bond holds things together. It's like an adhesive. Once you are far enough apart and there's too much distance, there's no bond anymore. Now you have to rebuild that bond somehow. Now the question is, can you rebuild that bond? I don't know. Maybe. Because once someone has felt neglect so deeply to the point where their feelings, their wants and needs, and their experiences have all been neglected. Back to that word, neglect. When they have been neglected for so long, how does that feel inside? Doesn't feel good. I can tell you that much. It does not feel good. And it hurts. Because then it feels like you are not worth their effort, their energy, their time. You are not their priority. And that may be true. So then what do you do when you have invested your life and your love and your time and your energy and your feelings into someone who neglects you? I think there comes a time when you have to, I got a good quote. Hold on, let me find this. The quote is, go where you are loved, stay where it's consistent. And I get that quote from at Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life. Let me say it again. Go where you are loved, stay where it is consistent. Now, is that possible? I mean, is that really even possible? Because life brings trials and tribulations and challenges and times when you don't feel like you like that person that you're with, or that you are in love with that person you're with, or you have been through so much that now you see that person differently. So what do you do then? Well, I think that if love is still there, there's your answer. If you still love that person, there's your answer. But if you're questioning whether or not you love that person, then I think there's your answer as well. Go where you are loved. Stay where it's consistent. But many people in times of trial, they go into their shell, right? They build up their walls. They go behind their walls, and then they retreat to their shell. And they wait. And they wait. And they do nothing. And they avoid. And if they're neglecting their responsibility to listen to your feelings, to respect your experiences, and to validate your experiences with them. That's something much bigger. That is something much deeper, that runs deeper inside of them, and I can tell you that that has less of a chance of change. I mean, they've got to go through some deep fucking soul searching to accept that about themselves. And that's a hard thing for many of us to do, right? So we go back to this bond that we've created and built with someone that we love and care for. Children especially, as we build this bond, it is imperative, absolutely imperative, that we give that bond the time and attention it needs. It needs. Because if we don't, they will go elsewhere to find it. So I decided to read a book on being a father. That book changed my life. Now, I also went through a near-death experience in that year of my life. 2003, all my organs shut down and stopped working symbiotically with one another, and they were basically working 5 to 10%, as they said, each, individually. So I read a book about being a father. And in the book, it says, for your daughters, if you neglect to give your daughters the proper attention and nurturing that they need to thrive, flourish, and build a foundation of who they are, they will look elsewhere. And that typically leads to premature sexual activities with other men early on. And it's been proven. Studies have shown that that is actually what happens frequently. So you better be damn straight that I'm going to be giving my daughters attention. I got 4 boys and 2 girls. And I try to spend every moment that I can with them. Put my phone down. I don't even know where it is when I'm with them. I play, I sit, I read, I sing, I get goofy. You got to give them something that they don't, how do I put this? You have to fill them with enough that they don't feel that void to go elsewhere and look for that void or to fill that void. So when we're building a bond with our children, that bond has to be deep, okay? Now here's the problem. When people build, or when parents build bonds with their kids, that's more of a friendship, less of a parental relationship. That's damaging to that child because then you never get to be the parent. You never get to step into the parent's shoes, the parent role, and say, dude, cut it out. You're in deep shit. Don't do that. They're not going to listen to you. They're going to talk back to you. That's not parenting, okay? You are a parent. When your child grows older, then you can be their friend. You can be a parent and still be kind of like a buddy to them when they're growing up. I love sitting down and talking with my kids. I love it. But the exciting part for me was when my oldest son turned 18 and I realized I got a new friend. Because even 16, 17 into 18, we started building this new relationship, this new bond that was very, very special to me. I got to see a lot of the fruits of my labors. I got to see a lot of the things that I had been teaching him and instilling in him. And he didn't always agree with all of it. But I could see that through the way he was treating other people, through the way he was accepting himself, through the way he was able to apologize and recognize his faults and mistakes, I got to see that he was now becoming an adult. So, let's wrap this up. So I may as well let you know I can talk forever, and I will be. My name is Adam. I'm a father of 6. I've had 3 near-death experiences in my life. I've counted about 4 or 5 other experiences that probably should have killed me. I grew up very poor, raised by a single mother. I was jumped and beaten. I have been in many, many fights, all to protect myself and to protect others. I have been shot at. I have been sliced. Not stabbed, but sliced. I've experienced a lot in my life. As an adult, I have made a lot, then lost a lot. Been successful, then lost it all. So step up. Together, we're going to change the world. This is Lessons from a Father, podcast number 1. Thank you.